What's up, beautiful people? Hey, it's Friday night. It's 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you guys are at your place for where we have raw and very unfiltered conversations. I am Christopher Rausch, and I'm joined by the beautiful
Scott Goyette. I was just laughing because you're so close to saying Raw and Unscripted, and I love the reality of what's going on in this world. We're doing our best, and we're busting our butts, and sometimes we get confused because we're doing too much.
Raw and Unfiltered. Ooh, that could be the next one. If we're supposed to go through these things and grow through these things, let's bring that. And our guest tonight is, Tracy, I'm setting you up. I see you in the green room. I see you in the green room. I'm setting you up we're going to play volleyball here because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls in the house, thank you guys for being here, whether you're live or on the replay. Please engage with us with your questions and your comments. But tonight we're going to throw all the excuses out the door. We're going to throw all of the excuses out the door. Scott, you're going to be going and doing jump shots after you talk to Tracy. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's welcome to this conversation about gratitude, Tracy, the Unstoppable Schmitt. Tracy, what's up, beautiful? How are you?
Hello, gentlemen. Well, I am on cloud nine with two extraordinarily handsome rocker dudes that are up for an unfiltered conversation.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
That's the way to spend a Friday night.
No, you're moving, you're doing all sorts of stuff. You're on other podcasts. So just recognition and appreciation and respect for you and love for you for making it here on the Unfiltered Experience. I'm excited. I've told Scott about you. We had a great time talking on the Raw and Unscripted. I'm gonna get them all mixed up. So and just the power of your story literally inspires me every day of my life. I'm not even kidding. That's no bullshit. I'm staring straight at the camera. I'm not literally, I sit there like Scott was saying, I have back pain. I'm like, Really, Chris? Really? You know, a 4-day amputee that competed in the Paralympics. That Tracy, tell us your story, sweetheart, please.
Oh my gosh. Well, and I'm laughing in the background of the green room. What is it? You heard a toe? Is it a toe, Scott, or was he making fun of you?
It's my littlest toe. It's
your baby toe.
He had surgery on his baby toe.
Wait, hold on. I like to refer to it as my littlest piggy.
Your littlest piggy.
Yes.
We all like piggies that go to the market. It is true.
I know.
It's so true. And
we're going to be talking chicken tonight, right? We're going to be talking chicken tonight, Tracy.
I think we might be. We just might be. And I feel for you 10-toed, 10-fingered individuals, all those potential injuries. I think the way to go is 4-way amputee. There isn't these excess appendages that accidentally get hurt all the time, right?
I almost want to go full spirit and just drop the body. Can we do that? Can we all just go full spirit right now? And
just your head, right?
I want to lean. I want to just become the pure energy source and the beautiful light that we are and get rid of these limitations. Can we do that? Just drop that.
I like that possibility.
I told you were going to dig Scott. Have you heard? I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
But breath work. Have you talked?
That's where it is too.
Have you done breath work?
So
Tracy, have you done breath work?
Have I done breath work?
Like the basically hyperventilating until you go like detached from your body type breath work. Have you done that before?
No, I want to.
It's amazing.
Now,
oh, you're going with us.
It's incredible. We're in a 6-week class right now. It really helps you. It really helps you like process emotions and pain and detach from the physical self and the meat suit that we're in. I did not know what I was getting myself into. Scott came out here to California. He's like, oh, we're going to go do some breath work. And I seriously was like, okay, breath work. This will be nice. We're going to sit on the beach and go, no, we're going to lay on the floor and go, until we go like, oh, geez, I can't feel my limbs anymore. And it's an amazing experience because it really centered me. It really does. I mean, it's really cool stuff. So he convinced me to join this breathworks class. So yeah, I'm always about sharing stuff, but please share your inspiration because I just want to dive into this. There's so many things that we could talk about. You're amazing. So please, the mic is yours.
Well, thank you. And, I think what you're referring to is being a World Cup sailor, and I sailed against 27 able-bodied men and 3 women. Everybody had their arms and their legs, like Melbourne Olympic class qualifier, December 2015, getting ready for Rio 2016. And I was, London 2012 Paralympic trials and Rio 2016 Paralympic trials, but also 135 able-bodied qualifiers where everybody was, mostly men, and their nicknames, whether they were from Singapore, Australia, Miami, wherever they were from, their nickname was Meat, because they all had like these big meaty muscles, all these big hunky Viking-like fellas. It was and then me. And that was my strategy. They always underestimated me the first race on the start line.
That's the best. I love this. There's nothing more beautiful than being underestimated. It's almost like I don't ever want to be told you're good. It almost makes me upset. I want to be, are you sure you can do this? There's something it's fuel. It's fuel, isn't it?
Yes.
You can't do that is like, just wait, click, 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 click.
Oh, exactly.
Yep. I'm gonna go do
it.
it.
I love it. Yes.
It's my FU sprinkler. I mean, it really is. I mean, and more, I embrace that. I see what my mom went through in a way, and how she owned her identity and her individuality was amazing. I'm trying to bridge that right now in what I'm doing and everything in the world. So, I mean, your tenacity, your spark, your courage, your creativity, your resourcefulness is just absolutely awe-inspiring. Speaking of water sports, I want to jump right into that story that you told about when you went down to Florida. I think it was when you went down to Florida. Commitment, perseverance, being unstoppable. That story resonated with me so much that I was just like, wow. So please tell us that story.
So I was on a plane during Hurricane Sandy, and it was when, New York was flooded and homes in Rhode Island were washed away. And I was in a sailing regatta in San Diego flying back to Toronto, and we were caught in the turbulence of it all. And I thought I was going to die. And I knew in that moment, if I would live, I was going to pursue my Paralympic dreams. When the plane landed, I tried to figure out who is going to be the catalyst. Like, what's that one person that's going to stretch quick and fast, right? I want the bobsledding version of getting to the end goal. And it was this Magnus Lidgedal, this gold Olympian. And everybody said there was no way, because Magnus is a gold Olympian and he trains all the mostly men that are already showing gold in their national and international regattas and North American regattas. And I was like, okay, thanks for letting me know. And so then I just jumped in a car and I put my bed and my wall unit and everything on internet. And if I couldn't sell it quick within 5 days, I donated it. It didn't fit my car. And I drove down like 5 days. And my family and my friends were so worried about me. They thought I was having some kind of crisis. So they all decided the best way to help me was to not help me. They're like, there's no way, I'm not helping you. I think this is ridiculous. And so I drove down there, and I had no idea how I'm going to fill my gas tank. I bum out of my car and I bum shuffle over. And of course the gas tank's like over my head without my legs on. But every gas station, somebody showed up and offered to help me fill my gas. I didn't get stuck once. And I bet you I could do it, but I never got to find out because there was always somebody who showed up, right? And I get down there and I'm in this parking lot and I'm so excited. And the boatyard is called Shake-a-Leg. And I'm like, okay, this is good.
The universe. The universe is funny. The universe has a really good sense of humor if we're willing to listen. It really does. It really does.
So funny. And I love that you guys get that right away. Like, look at you, universe. I love it. So
you're like, voila, here's your situation. Are you going to pass or fail? I mean, that's what literally life is about, is like you're placed in a situation, you've graduated to the next level of the game, as Scott refers to, and now you are in deep in this game. Talk to us about that.
Well, yeah. And then Magnus wasn't there.
You burned the ships. You're like, later, guys, I'm going to go follow my dreams.
I'm going to go. And I show up. And I know I'm in the right place, but Magnus wasn't there. And so I'm like, okay, there's these two big multi-million-dollar yachts. He's not there. It's really late. All the hotels are full. I've spent pretty much all my money getting down there and given up everything. And so I take my car and I park it in between two multi-million-dollar yachts. Because, like, who you surround yourself with, right? I want some of those multi-million-dollar YouTube vibes, right?
Genius. I love it.
And I slept in my car, and I was exactly where I needed to be because I woke up at 5:30 in the morning with the sunrise because I'm in my car. guess who's washing boats at 5:30 in the morning?
No.
Magnus. And he's like dead in front of me. Like I open my eyes and right through my windshield is right there washing and waxing boats. So I jump out of my car and I race over to Magnus. I'm like, Magnus, I'm Tracy from Toronto. So sorry that I emailed you and tweeted you and Facebooked you and LinkedIn you. And I'm Tracy from Toronto and I didn't mean to harass him. I'm like, I'm here. And then awesome. Magnus was like flat, right? It's like, who is this chick? He had a completely different energy. And I was kind of like Donkey and he was kind of like Shrek, right?
That's awesome. That is so awesome. That right there, that I just like, you know, because I've got a 14-year-old that we grew up watching that. So I'm sitting here right now seeing that going, wow, that was well played.
That was so good. I wish I haven't told the story that way. And I just got a light bulb just then telling you guys. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was a Donkey vibe. It was so funny.
Straight Eddie Murphy.
And totally. And so then I'm like, okay, remembering. And I was me, right? And he is washing a boat. So I just like dial it back tenfold. And when I reach into the bucket, because he's washing boats, right? That's his world. He's washing a boat. So I pick up a sponge and I start washing the boat silently with him, right? Because that was his headspace. Well, I was washing and waxing his boats at 5:30 in the morning for 3 months, sleeping in my car, hiding in his boatyard for 3 months before he finally said, come on, let's go sailing. And I believe that's the story that Christopher was talking about.
Yeah, just slightly. Your tenacity, your encouragement, your enthusiasm to go say, hey, listen, I'm going to go for my dream. Irregardless of what physical situation I am in, I'm going to go for my dream. I'm going to give it my best. And Scott and you and I talk about this all the time here on the show and in our coaching program. What is your best? What are you truly made of? You guys are out there sitting there going, oh, this and that and this and that. Your best is so much more than what you're currently thinking it is. I mean, talk to us about those times, Tracy. I mean, you have your family talking about this and that. I mean, how do you get through those times? You know, sometimes we don't know how, right? How do you embrace possibility? And I don't know how, right? What's that about? And you make me think of skiing when we had no idea how I would ski, right? And people with disabilities, paralyzed, they often use the sit ski, but they've got outriggers like crutches with skis on the end. And I'm missing my hands. So when we tried the sit ski, I just face planted and I wear artificial legs. My legs end above my knees. They're kind of like my little arm here. They end above knee. So we tried the long legs, but with artificial knees, they just bent when we're on the hill. But I wasn't going to figure it out on a couch at home, right? There wasn't anybody else in the 80s who had gone downhill skiing when I was downhill skiing, but I still showed up even though I didn't know how. And what ended up working after a lot of wipeouts was we're sitting on a bench at lunchtime and my ski instructor, he had gigantic feet. And I just got this crazy young light bulb, completely inappropriate. I'm thinking, holy cow, he's got big feet, right? And then I realized, what's that thing?
My thighs could fit in his ski boots. And so that's where we put my stumps, right? But my leg stumps above knee in his ski boots. But because they're canted forwards, I face planted some more. So then what we did is we put my thighs in men's ski boots backwards, right? I don't have any toes. And it put me in that skier's tuck position because it's angled. But we wouldn't have figured it out on a couch. We wouldn't have figured it out Googling, right? So sometimes even though you don't know how are you going to be an author? How are you going to get through being laid off? How are you going to get through this horrific breakup? How are you going to be brave enough to quit your job and be an entrepreneur? How are you going to face your teenagers in these anxiety-filled times? It's okay that we don't know how, but the only way we're going to figure it out is you get started. And then you find your backwards boots. You find your solutions you are not expecting, but you don't find them until you get started.
Tracy, I'm listening to you right now, And I have I have 2 classes of 36 students that I teach business to.
Okay.
And I just want to interrupt real quick, and we're going to come right back to you. But I was officially going to end the class on Wednesday. Let's talk after this, because I would love, because you're saying everything I say to my students, but they're listening, able-bodied guy. It's easy for you. It's different. I want to hear the same message come from somebody, because I'm saying it and they're just saying what's different. And I'm like, it's not different. We're all the same. We're all the same. It's whatever hand you're dealt, play that hand hard. But with you saying it, I think they're going to go, okay, I'll shut up.
Yeah. Like
they're going to shut the fuck up. They're going to be like, gut check. Yep. I'm not going to, like I said, Scott, I'm going to see video of you later on. You'll be like, okay, I went to the gym today because I was like so inspired, and here I am on my thing, and I'm, climbing up a ladder, but I did a dunk shot tonight because.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but I did go to the gym today. I was talking to Ben on the phone. I actually went to.
I told you should go.
No, I went.
You can do upper body.
I did. No, but for the first few days I couldn't, because here's the gross part. I've got a pin sticking out of my foot, so it's oozing, and I don't want to get it, infection.
UTI.
So yeah, there you go, UTI. Exactly. I don't want to get a UTI, and my skirt was always. Are you making fun of me here? I feel like you are.
I'm so tired. My just different shit is jumping into my brain. I woke up tired today. I was like, oh my God. But we got Peggy Williams in the house. Oh my God, she is unstoppable.
Peggy.
She is amazing. Marlene Sanchez is in the house. She says, Tracy Dynamite. We got Pamela Aubrey. What's up, Pam? I figured you're on the road right now. I was going to call you earlier. I apologize. I'm telling you this live on air. I was going to call you this morning, but it's been fucking crazy. So thank you for being here. Teresa Turner says yes. She says, welcome, Tracy.
Thank you.
So yes. And Peggy says it is often. I got to start wearing my reading glasses. It's often that we go. Damn, how did I do that? Sometimes we need to do it and figure it out. How to the hell later? Yes,
and
Peggy.
Peggy.
We're going to be talking about that tomorrow morning at 9:00, aren't we, Peggy? Your inspiration and your motivation for how you keep going. How do you handle people who tell you to play it safe? Oh, Tracy, you shouldn't do that. Oh, Tracy, that's dangerous. Oh, Tracy, you could hurt yourself. How do you mitigate those conversations, and how do you keep yourself inspired in those moments?
And that happens all the time. And the more risky I be, the more awareness people try to give me to say I should be safer or more cautious. And it started as a very young girl. And how do you do it is by asking and generating the conversation from where the person's coming from, right? Like with Magnus, I was me. And it wasn't until I tapped into what he was doing to start to generate that conversation. Not about what I wanted, but what's going on in his world. Like when I was in kindergarten and they said, no, you can't come. My mom said, friendly, kindly, how come? Right? She didn't get all angry mama bear about it. She said, oh, how come? And so he explained about one teacher, 30 kids, no helpers. It's the 70s when I was in kindergarten. And she didn't say, when he said, oh, she's not going to be able to tie her shoelaces or go to the bathroom. Mom didn't say, oh, she can tie her shoelaces. She just said, oh, I understand. Can we just try? And then I ended up tying 30 shoelaces because none of the other 30 kids could tie their shoelaces. And, the principal goes outside to find me at recess and I wasn't there. But it's not because I couldn't do it. It was because I was inside tying 30 shoelaces.
That is awesome.
And that's the short version of the story. So how do you tell people, you got to play it safe? Sometimes we need to come at it like regroup when we see people come at it unexpectedly and disapprovingly, or safeguard, or they think you're too young, or that's for girls, or that's for boys, or black, white. I've got a master's as well, Scott, with your business class, but whether it's appropriate or not, and to speak to their listening. Mom didn't say she can tie her shoelaces. What she said, can we just try for a week? And she knew that I would show him that I could tie my shoelaces. She didn't know I'd tie everybody's shoelaces, but she had told me everybody included at recess. And what she meant was me, Tracy, make sure you're included at recess. But I took it to mean I had to make sure everybody was included. And so I helped with shoelaces.
Hey, you know what I'm hearing so loud and clear, and it's so beautiful, is a leader. Now, there's archetypes that define us all. We've got people who are warrior archetypes, and they sometimes struggle in different areas of life because they're a warrior. There's people who are leaders. There's people who are creators. And I'm hearing leader, 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 leader. And a leader is not defined by I'm a white male or I've got strength or my name is Magnus, which is a badass name, by the way.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, when you said it, I was kind of like going like Magnus.
You can picture him.
I was like, somebody did well in the name. Like, I'm almost like, if I had a boy, I got to rethink this. It's got to be a Magnus.
That's the name of a condom, isn't it? I mean, no, Magnum.
Yeah, whatever. He's a condom, but the guy's got something going on, no doubt.
Yeah.
So, but all jokes aside, the fact that we've got such an amazing leadership quality in you that was born in you. And one of the things Chris and I always talk about is finding your brilliance. Some people say find your genius, find your gift, find your brilliance. Your brilliance clearly is leadership, and you are becoming that light that other people can follow. And to my point, we just started the show with, who gives a shit? Like, bodies that we're in. It's like honestly, we have to deal with them. That's a reality. And today, maybe my body's great, and maybe tomorrow it won't be. But if you have the mindset and that quality of understanding your brilliance, you can deliver some serious quality to this world. And I'm hearing that loud and clear with you, and I'm in love with it. I'm going to shut up because I'm just loving it.
I told you.
I know. Well, we already became friends in Facebook, and I went and trolled. I don't troll her page. I'm the secret guy who's like, I'm like, all right, she's badass, and she knows a Magnus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already knew that story too because
you gotta watch out if you know a Magnus. Hey, look who we have in the house, ladies and gentlemen. The beautiful Patricia. I've been thinking about you for like the last 4 or 5 days. So you missed the intro to the show. I have to talk to you about that. But yeah, she says, I love you, XOXOXOXO. She's like, oh my God. Marlene's in the house. She says, speak to her. Listening. Happy face, or booby bra, whatever it might be. We have a Fritz brother in the house. Thomas is in the house. He says, hello, you guys. Hello, you guys. Awesome beings. Magnum is a Fritz.
Yeah.
Yes.
Magnum, Magnus, whatever. Any of those names, just honestly, they sound just really not scary, but like cooler than I am. I'm just Scott. Your name's Magnus. It's like, damn, I can't do that.
Right.
You
walk in, you go like, what? Would you like a table? Yes, Magnus, party of four.
Sure, Magnus, party of however the hell many I want.
Peter, party of four. Yeah, just go sit down.
Yeah,
I mean, that totally is. That totally is that. So, Tracy, with everything that you've done and everything that you've accomplished, and especially with thinking about COVID and during this time of people really choosing to be a victim or a victor in the situation, how do you handle the people that bitch, piss, and moan about, the smaller things in life? Do you have compassion and empathy for them, or do you actually really like get in their shit and go, are you really complaining to me? Are you really? How do you handle that?
After this show, after Unfiltered experience, maybe I need to be more direct up. But in my head, I am always like, are you really complaining? Or I was thinking, poor Scott, he's talking about his toe, and we didn't know there was a nail oozing out of his foot. Give him that. So he's talking about his toe, and then I'm like, this poor guy, he's going to have a 4-way amputee come on, and it's going to feel like a paper cut, right?
Well, I'm also...
afterwards.
I was also trying to beautifully segue for you too.
And you set me up.
We volley. Yeah, Chris and I don't talk about this, but we're professionals here, Tracy.
Oh, I'm impressed. Thank you for setting me up.
It's a real microphone.
I've got real lights, all these little things, so that we've done this before.
I'm impressed. But what I find, the card I play, which isn't probably very honest of me, but I usually come in really empathetic. I'm like, I can't imagine what's going on in your life. And I know it's really hard times. And there's horrific things that everybody's dealing with job loss and with, relationships and tough things. But I know for myself, when I live a life of no excuses, the bonus is I get to live a life of no limits, no excuses,
there you go.
No limit. So I try to go empathy and then tough love, no excuses, no limits. But now maybe I just skip the empathy and do how you two play it.
Could you imagine? I mean, honestly, Tracy, could you imagine somebody walks up and goes, "Oh my God, I'm such a fan of yours. Oh, my arm hurts." And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Could you imagine what would happen if you said that?
So
I'm not suggesting it, but I'm also saying at the same time, we all need a wake up call. I sit there and I think about my pain and I'm like, okay, I'm being a puss. And then I think about the guy that was paralyzed. He's a quadriplegic now. He fell through his daughter's craft table. It was a wooden craft table. He was drunk. He had a drinking problem. God said, "You're going to learn today." He spent like 9 hours like on the floor because he couldn't move. And I sit there and think, I'm like, would he want my pain? 1,000%. So shut up. And I just pushed through it. I'm like, I got this Goggins thing in my brain. I'm like, I don't want to be Goggins, but I want to be Tracy. Tracy. So talk to us about that. How do we inspire people who have those self-beliefs and those limitations based on their conditioning from childhood? How do we erase and change those perspectives about what happened to them to be what's happening for them? Because you're a living example of that. I mean, you're doing these things. You're going out there and experience life that people who have arms and legs and everything else don't do. So how do you speak to those people and tell them, like, let's go?
Let's go. I feel very lucky, very blessed to have been born this way. I was born exactly the way I was meant to be because I got to learn really early, right? I didn't have to fall through a table drunk to get the lesson, right? This is my life. And so that, like in kindergarten, when the principal said no, you said we make these ideas up when we're really young, was what you said. Well, what I learned was no must mean K-N-O-W. He just doesn't know, right? I didn't learn that I was fat or not smart or a girl or not tall enough. I learned no means K-N-O-W. And this is true in the pandemic and true every day of my life. Thanks to the principal saying no that day, I realized, there's no such thing as no. It's just, we just don't know. And I'm forgetting your question already at the start. So how do you bust through? And so the exceeding uncertainty, feeling uncertain, is no excuse for inaction, right? So falling out of that boat, I'm a World Cup sailor, Olympic class qualifying sailor. Even if I came 30th out of 30 in that regatta in Melbourne, Olympic class qualifier with all the able-bodied people, I would have been 30th of 30th out of the whole wide world, all men, all women, all able-bodied people, whatever race or color or size or gender, right? Or gender preference, right? I would have been 30th out of 30. And I didn't come 30th. I came 7th, right? And it's like, whoa. And I expected to be 30 because I wanted to compete against my Paralympic peers in the upcoming trials. But when I started sailing without my legs, I was like falling out of the boat every wave and every wind with no legs. I was top heavy and I failed, right? It turns out you can't get your white tail level 1 if you can't stay in the boat. I knew the parts of the boat. I knew the points of sail, but I kept falling out of the boat. And so exceeding uncertainty, feeling uncertain is no excuse for inaction. And so I'm really lucky, really young, right? I got to see failure doesn't mean anything. It just means you keep going until you get through it. Exceed uncertainty. Feeling uncertain is no excuse for inaction.
So there's a question for you, because everything that you said is beautiful and on point. But let's sit back right now and let's visualize some of the listeners, because there's people who are listening right now and they see distance between them and you. Yeah. They see you've got something special. They don't, even though they're seeing their advantages physically. Yeah, that's not their issue. Their issue's in here and in here. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that a psychiatrist taught me that I thought was very interesting, they said the most common thing they hear when people come in is they say, here's my problem. And no matter how big it is, they say, but I know other people have it worse. So you always diminish your own issue. So you, to your point, go, I have no issue. You know what I mean? Even in the fact that other people go, what are you talking about? Look at all your limitations. So let's talk about how, from your perspective, Chris' perspective, or my perspective, how can we realize that our limitations are very real, whether it's a pinky toe issue, whether you're fearful, whether you have, a quadruple amputee, whatever it is, it's freaking real in this body. Let's talk about, because I know you're somebody who knows how to do it. I don't even need to know. I know. And that's KNOW. Yeah. how do you get to that observer space where our body is the vehicle in which we live our dreams in this existence? How do we get to that space that we can manage it and we respect the physical limitations or mental limitations or emotional limitations, but we know we're infinitely just amazing? How can we get to that space? Because I see it in you, I hear it in you, but I know there's people who put distance who are listening. They're putting distance between themselves and you. Let's narrow that gap. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Well said.
Yeah. Love the way you frame it. You know, one of the things I say is that I was born limitless. I was born limitless.
Loving it.
Right? And I spell it with a B. But, you know, the bigger secret is we are all born limitless. We were all born limitless. I just got the nice, obvious lesson in that born limitless. And I got a bit of a light bulb at about 18. That was when I was getting ready to go to the Himalayas. I was on Outward Bound. I was in Thunder Bay, Ontario, not on the big Himalayas yet. And I'm so well lit up that my light bulb just cut out.
Roll with it, baby. You're good. It's evening. It's
but you know what?
Now I'm in the evening wear.
So I just learned something in photography. Chris and I got some pictures professionally done. What you have going on right now is drama because there's more shadow on this side. So you're actually bringing some drama. So this is better.
I love
Tracy, bring the drama.
Bring the drama. Imagine no arms, no legs, hanging off of the cliff, and there's a photograph there, and you're ignoring the horrific photo of what the harness does to your rear end when you're hanging there.
I love it.
That's
really
that's
visualize
first grade
that, right? The cheeks, right? But so I'm hanging there, and it's kind of like my condo in this pandemic, right? There's nobody left of me. There's nobody right of me. And I'm all alone hanging off that cliff. And I'm petrified. And I'm hanging out there all alone. And I'm just frozen in this moment. My stumps, my knees. Remember, my legs end above my knees. The end of my stumps. There was a cliffhanger projectile. And so I'm swinging free. And I froze on my belay line. And I'm feeling alone. And all of a sudden, somebody shouts, "Tracy, are you on the ground?" And at first I started to think, no, I'm not on the ground. And then I got this light bulb. I'm like, I forgot. I'm not out here alone, right? Somebody's on my lifeline. Someone's on my belay line. Someone's on my safety line. And they're not in the photograph, right? They're up over the cliff. But you know, how do you see that? How do you earn independence? You don't earn independence alone. It's who I'm surrounding myself tonight with Christopher and Scott, right? I decided tonight on moving day.
Crammed in between everything else.
Yeah. All by myself, and not by myself for part of it, but by myself. I moved my dresser and my grandfather clock and my table and my couch and my chair. Like I did all of that, no arms, no legs, out of my apartment and into the carpeted hallway. Carpet's really rough to move on. Into the hallway of the condo so that when the movers came, it was all lined up. And so
you're amazing.
But I knew I needed like the unfiltered experience, right? The lifeline, and having like Christopher in my head was like a great driver today. And I was remembering our combo and I was smiling while I was moving. You know, I wasn't feeling the elbow muscle or the quadruple layered blisters on my stumps, trying to push everything out on the last end. So, you know, how do you see outside yourself is like, who do you surround yourself with? And I surround myself with Christopher, and Christopher brought Scott into my life and gave me that unfiltered day.
I told you, I only hang out with people that change the world in a positive way. So there is so much more to come from all of this. I see this like blossoming. I see this amazing opportunity to really take everything that we've been through in our lives and our journeys and everything, especially in the last year, and take that radiance and take that abundance. And as Scott so eloquently says, go love now. And I was not the love person. I was telling somebody, we were on a cruise today. I was like, I was not the love person. I was like the fuck you person. We'll get the results. We'll get to where you need to go, but I don't need to deal with that stuff. I know what prescriptively that we need to get to the result that you want to get. But Scott so eloquently came into my life and said, okay, we're going to teach you about love. We're going to teach you about that you can only be in one of two emotions. You can either be in love or you can be in fear. And that's a choice. And that really is a choice. I mean, you don't know this, but I always keep this book. I always keep this book right in front of me. Victor, I don't keep, the rich thing. What's that?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
No. It's another shit fucking book.
Another one of those self-start books.
It's not a shit book, but obviously that one, everybody quotes this one, but no, this one. Have you ever read this, Tracy? Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning?
No.
Dude, this is your book. I mean, seriously,
Okay.
he talks about you can do anything to me. You can do anything to me, but you cannot take away my power to decide how I'm going to feel in this moment. You cannot prescribe that to me. You cannot make me say that I am angry because of what I'm doing. I choose to be that. That's the thing. That's the thing that like strikes me so much lately with people who are like, oh, well, you may be this. I'm like, I didn't make you shit. You decided that for yourself based on your prescriptive conditioning that you've gone through your entire life that seems to be working for you. So if it's working for you, then continue on with that. If not, move the fuck on and get the right people in your life.
So right? Tracy, so I love what he just said, and I want to add to that and compliment him on that and compliment you on something. So one of the things that I've been noticing, because we do a group coaching together, and one of the things that happens in the group coaching is there's two things that need to be done. There's two things that need to be done. One thing that needs to be done is drive motivation. So we need to get people to be self-motivated so they can be inspired, which is what Chris brings to the table. Yeah. And he could do that, or I could do that, but that's what his gift is. That's what his brilliance is he came from a space where he's like, if I'm not self-motivated, I'm pretty much fucked. And so, and I hear much the same for you too, but it sounds like you had a wonderful mom too. But at the same time, you knew that there's a day when it's going to be you by yourself, because you came into this world yourself and you leave yourself, and you understood that. And I hear that. So that's beautiful. There's another thing that I'm noticing in the groups is sometimes we need to explain the how. And so to the point, when I come in and I say, let's say, for example, I say, hey, I'm not good enough because I think that my issue isn't as big as yours. I could literally go my whole life saying, she can do it, but I'm so weak that I can't, and all I have is a stub toe.
Yeah.
And so no matter how many times Chris says, just do it, no excuses, it just makes me feel worse. So I want people out there to understand there's a duality in how we bring people to the next level. One is the explanation and the how that you're perfect as is, and the limitations that you're perceiving are real. But you can get past them. And then once you get it, alley-oop pass to Chris or to you, shut the hell up and just do it. But there's a two-pronged approach. And I've really been starting to embrace and see that. So how do we share that with people? Because my biggest fear factor when people see somebody who does something they see as extraordinary is that they're not extraordinary. Yeah. What do you have to say to those people? Because there's somebody watching right now who says, you're extraordinary, Chris is extraordinary, but I'm not. Talk to that person right now.
What's coming to mind to clear my head to get ready for the answer is just so many people say you're inspiring, and I appreciate it, but it almost deflates me because I know they're hearing what you're saying, Scott. Instead, like, you are inspiring. They're not saying, if they compliment me to say, I am ready to take on the world, I can do it. That is the compliment I love. And, inspiration is a little bit like a shower, right? You put on that perfume, but you get in the shower and it washes away. So what you need that continuous dose. You need that continuous Christopher and Scott constant. Right? It isn't one day. I didn't need Magnus for one day. I needed 3 months of facing him. And then I needed another 4 years of everyday Magnus. So it's what do you say to people? It's not just listening tonight, but how do we disarm those limiting beliefs? Disarm your limiting beliefs. I was in a, like, and we all get down, right? You were giving the context about, you know what? I'm embracing this pain in my foot so that I can appreciate when I don't have pain, kind of context of a story. And you can imagine after 88 days of sleeping in my car, doing what felt like free labor, and I'd left everybody behind, and I was really broke. And so I'm eating Cheerios and sleeping in my car to get Magnus's attention, and he never gave me his attention for 88 days. And I began to wonder, am I good enough? I'm not good enough, right? I'm not worthy of this man's Magnus' time because of all these gold Olympians around on the dock. And I was always, every day I'd face a mirror and I'd be like, today's the day Magnus is going to coach me. And it got me out of the car 88 days. And I'd have to say it like 12 times. So I really believed it. I didn't get out of the car. I didn't just say it. I got out of the car when I believed it. Mm-hmm. But on the 88th day, the 89th day, I didn't believe it. I said it 24 times and I still just didn't believe it. And
that's the gold. That's the gold. Say that word again. Day. That's the gold.
That I didn't believe it.
Believed it. Oh my, like that's the gold. That's what that's it. And Chris says it because here's what this is what I'm visualizing. I'm visualizing a lot of people listening to this, and Chris has it, and that's because of Patricia, because she gave that to him. And there's so many of us who, no matter what the circumstances, we could be given all the money in the world, we could be given all the tools, we don't believe we're enough. Mm-hmm. So what do we do, the three of us, to share with the world right now that you need to believe in yourself? You, and when I say you, I mean you as your spirit form, what came long before this physical form that is perfect or imperfect. And they're all the same. It's just a vehicle. It's just a vehicle. It's going to go soon enough. Damn toe.
Yeah, damn toe.
So this vehicle, it's faulty and there's no warranty. I'm past the 36 months. I'm screwed. So this vehicle, I guess what I want people to do is to really sit in their soul and realize you're perfect. There's nobody watching this, nobody listening to this, nobody who's ever going to hear this or be part of this that's anything less than perfect. Because you are spirit, you are perfect, you are beautiful, and all you're doing is driving a vehicle. So I hope that, we can continue for this of the show, is just to talk to people about how can you drive your vehicle the best possible. Because what I'm seeing is we have 3 race car drivers here who are all top of their class, driving 3 different formats. Somebody's F1, somebody's NASCAR, whatever. And we're teaching people, here are 3 ways that we think you could drive your vehicle the best, but you have your own race car. So drive it the way you want. But we're just giving some tips. The minute we don't realize that we're a pro, that's where the problem comes in. We're all pros.
So can I say on, like, you're driving your race car, and I got nowhere for those 88 days, even though I was believing. But when I got that, I'm driving you guys are driving race cars and I fly an airplane, and jump out of airplanes. When I faced that mirror and I said, okay, I can't believe that Magnus is going to do this today. And I was busy putting all my power into him. And so when I finally faced that mirror on the 89th day and I said, okay, I'm just going to be the best version of myself today.
Yeah, I love
right?
it.
And I kind of gave up on trying to impress Magnus that day, that 89th day, right? And so I got out of the car and somebody was doing something and they were struggling, and I ran over and I gave them a hand with the Hoyer, and then someone was on the dock and they were out of control and scared, and I was able to coach them a little bit because I wasn't busy trying to impress Magnus. I was just being my best version of myself and doing my community thing, and Magnus saw it. And at the end of the day, Magnus came over and he's like, Tracy, you can sail. And I'm like, I've just spent 3 months trying to prove that I can sail. And when I finally gave up proving it and just being me, the best version of me, he said, come on, let's go sailing. And so it's funny that you use that car racing and airplane racing kind of analogy, that we have to be the driver and not empowering others.
Yeah, you drove your car. there's a team that helps us make sure our car is efficient, just like in NASCAR, no question. And somebody's got to fuel it up. Somebody's going to change the tires. Somebody's going to check the engine. And we find that team. And Chris and I talk about that all the time. But at the end of the day,
a lot this week.
yeah. But at the end of the day, you're the driver. And if everybody here who's ever listening to this today or in the future can recognize the fact that the minute you sit in that seat and say, I'm the driver and I'm perfect as is, yeah, you're going to crash. Yeah, you're going to make mistakes. And you know what? Welcome to humanity. We came down in spirits and said, we want contrast. We want polarity. We want good. We want bad. We want love. We want darkness. Whatever the heck it is you wanted, you're getting it. Drive your car and find it. And that's it. And I love the fact that you're doing it. And I know there's people here who are super inspired by it, because I just want them to get out of their own way and see the inspiration and not miss it.
No.
And you inspired me today, by the way, too, because even though I'm cognizant of the fact that I'm sitting here saying, okay, I'll get through this, sometimes you just need to see somebody who's ahead of you in the cut the bullshit department. And so I think it's fantastic. I love it. I love the opportunities we're all given to be the light and taking them.
Aww.
So true, Scott. It's so true. And you are impacting people, obviously, Tracy. Pamela says, how did you come through the pain of amputations without getting discouraged?
Great question, Pam.
Thank you, Pam.
So Pam, I was lucky to be born this way. So I'm called a 4-way amputee, which sounds funny because it means amputated, but I was actually born this way. So, I mean, pain, lots of surgeries and lots of pain with prosthetics, and, you know, through movies and Grey's Anatomy, we're all knowing that, yes, there's pain in amputation, but I wasn't amputated. So I did have that, and I don't want to mislead anybody. But, you know, and I think the bigger pain, like other than the blisters and the broken elbows, the bigger pain is the other people, you know, every day when I'm out and about, most of my conversations, 99.9% of my conversations start with, oh, can I help you? And that's lovely. Like, it means kind hearts, right? But how about a hi, right?
Yes.
Like, how about a smile and a nod? Like, how about seeing the person, right? So most of my pain is the kind.
Or you feel sorry for me.
Yeah. And
right?
So it's so great when they're just like, hi, right? And I mean, I know able-bodied friends that are definitely stronger than me, that there's no way they would have moved all their furniture out into the hallway today, right? Like, it's so funny to I
wish I was there. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
like,
I know. I should have got somebody.
Seriously, like next time when there's no COVID, I'll fly out there.
On Facebook.
Seriously, I would have been out there. Me and Scott would have been out there in the New York second.
Oh, you need to help me move. Oh, I thought you were like to film the show.
No. To help
we were just going to film you move.
Literally, I didn't even know a guy. I joined a mastermind, and literally it was a week later. He put something on the group. He's like, I need help moving my photography studio. It was like on a Saturday, and it was raining, and I drove literally like 3 hours to get to this place. I didn't even know the guy, and I helped him move all day through the rain. Aww. Yeah, I mean that's what we do. That's what family is about. So your family. So the next time you need to move, just call us, and me and Scott will fly there and in our private jet, and we'll.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I mean, honestly, we've been talking for, and I told Scott I was going to keep this to an hour, but literally I could talk to you forever, because just look at, I mean, let's just take a second for here. I mean, Patricia saying believe. Yes. Patricia gave me this. This is not a joke. This says believe. Patricia gave this to me in the Sheraton Gateway Hotel in Los Angeles in 2013 or 2014.
Wow.
My cat, and it's not a joke. My cat was dying of, he had oral squamous cell carcinoma, and I snuck him into the Sheraton Gateway Hotel with all my friends and was able to nurse him. We put down blankets and everything because he was bleeding. Now I had to be at this event because I made a promise. I made a contractual commitment, and my wife was out of town, and she brought this. She's like, wait. And I'm like, Patricia, you remember this? And she came, I watched her walk to the elevator. I'm like, what is she going to go do? You know? And Patricia and I are like, if you look at us visually, completely different people. Like, right. I mean, she'd be like, she would be the type of person that would be afraid of me in the street. Like, hey, I got this. I got something for you. We were in the same mastermind. She comes down, she gives me this. And literally you could go see through pictures. This used to be dark blue. It used to be super dark blue, but I've always believed because I know that she believed in me. There was something in that intersection of my life, because we didn't talk until last year, right, Patricia? And all of a sudden she just popped back into my life. She goes, "Hey, Chris, I got some things to tell you." And on paper, we would not have been friends. She wrote The Karmic Alibi, and I read it, and I'm like, what? This is kind of some self-help guru stuff. I mean, now I can read it and I can totally understand it. So Patricia, for you being here, it's amazing. Marlene says, "I love it when you say that. It amplifies believe now from one artist to another." Yes. And Patricia says, oneness. Absolutely. I've met so many people that are amazing in this world right now that are really trying to. There's Regina. That's what I was talking about earlier. Regina called me. She goes, "Hey, I got to tell you about this thing." Yes, Scott, you were going to say something.
I was going to say Earl, actually, if you look at Earl Amin, he's going to be our guest next week. Phenomenal human being. And he dropped in a comment, so I was going to share that.
Go for it. It's right up there on the screen.
Oh, I got to read it now. I got to get the glasses back on.
All right, old man.
The choices.
older than you.
I know. My eyes are gone. It's, what happens? I don't know if you know, there's a direct correlation in Chinese medicine with the little toe and the eyes.
No.
I just made that up.
You're just
I'm completely lying, actually. It's
Here, I'll make
nothing
you feel
to do
better.
with
I'll make you feel better.
No, it's not. It's a complete lie. I just wanted to just make. There you go. So my good friend Earl Amin said, "The choices that you have made in the face of your circumstances can inspire another to face their own circumstances with similar courage and conviction," which is exactly what the point I was trying to make, that we got to make people realize that your circumstances, regardless of who it is, we can see that and we can use that as an opportunity to say, this is a person that I can emulate and be just like that. And Patricia was saying, I love Earl, and yeah, right on point. Beautiful human being. What's I really wish we could do is have every one of the people we've ever had on the show together in one place, having this beautiful cocktail hour.
Oh my God.
Just this, it would be the mastermind.
Yeah.
We will do it at some point.
Oh yeah.
There's so many. We've really gone backwards on all the incredible breakthroughs. Canada just last year got their Canada with Disability Act. You've had the Americans with Disability Act a long time, but we just got our Canada with Disability Act.
That's crazy.
2020. Why? What's that about?
Seriously.
And it was a breakthrough time. And I really felt like that was our year before the pandemic. And now the pandemic has everybody feeling like people with disabilities are the sick people and the ones that are likely to get you sick. And so it's just really sent us backwards. So I'd like, on a business front, I'd like another Uber breakthrough. I'd like another really cool piece of business that stands in the face of, let's not take 10 years catching back up again, right? What's the bobsledding speed version of catching us up again?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's shake it up. Let's shake it up. I mean, let's knock people on their ass.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I mean, the world needs it right now. That's the fact. I've been on Clubhouse for so much. I know people are tired of me talking about it, but it's restored my faith in humanity. It's restored my faith in connection. It's restored my faith in really listening to people and understanding people from a deeper level. There is a yearning right now in the world, and I truly believe this from the bottom of my heart, from every aspect of the globe, that people are really seeking to connect. People are really seeking to try to find a way to repair the damage that they have perceived to be done in their life by their perspectives of what has happened for them, not to them. It's so clear in everybody's story, whether they are a victim, like, oh, this happened to me. That simple perspective shift. And you said it so beautifully, like, I didn't have amputations while I was here. This is the way I was born. And your tenacity and your drive is so inspirational. I can't wait to do way more things with you. Get on stage. All of us are powerhouses. There's a reason why we're all connecting. There's a reason why Patricia's here tonight. Megan Watson says, I'm cooking dinner and hands are full, so I haven't dropped any of my thoughts. But Tracy, I love you. I had a great conversation with Megan last night or yesterday. So Megan, thank you so much for being here, and your support means the world to us. Let's see. Patricia says, amen. Patricia says, I feel so blessed. I love all of you. And that's the funny thing, Mr. Scott Goyette, is the whole love thing.
Yeah,
This
there
whole
it
love
is.
thing. You know, it's so interesting that really when you change that perspective of trying to compartmentalize people into a certain category so that you can either like them or hate them, you have taught me, my friend, that love really conquers all. And I've heard so many people talk about that this week. It's crazy how once you get in that vibrational alignment and you start getting around those people, that's what they're talking about. I mean, like I've told you about Princeton. Princeton went from being a gang member, from shooting at people and having shots fired at him and all these different things. And he talks about, he goes, I love every aspect of my life. And he has been through that shit. That's what we all need to be doing. We all need to be doing and being the light and the love that we need to see, no matter what situation it is tonight. And even Jacqueline says, I love the show tonight. And Patricia says, yes, North Pole. And Patricia, I mean, I think you know Patricia, right? That's how we got.
I do know Patricia,
yeah.
and
Tracy is an angel, and we were blessed with her.
International Association of Top Professionals, and voted me top inspirational leader 2021. Patricia's like massive lifeline for me, and it's so funny that she's in your world and my world.
You are an amazing soul, Patricia. So you know that from Scott, myself, and Tracy tonight. So Tracy, I'm going to ask you, literally, you have a microphone to the entire world. You literally, I mean, figuratively, one day this might happen with this show. You have a microphone to the whole world. Everybody is struggling. Some people are thriving. Some people are, at their wits' end. I talked to somebody yesterday that's literally in that spot, and I struggled to find hope for them. What can we do at this point in our life, to Scott's point, that we can send people away from this conversation where they can take one action in their life to change their perspective about why they might be a victim versus how they could become a victor?
Dude, I come back to no excuses, and I can't imagine what's going on, but no excuses, no limits. It's tough love. It's a bonus, though. When you have no excuses, you have no limits. And so hear yourself, hear your excuse, your very real reason. The man has ooze coming from his toe with a nail, and he still showed up at the gym, right? And I'm so lucky to be a sailor, a skier. I fly airplanes. I bust Uber into Canada. I moved my own furniture today. Like, what it out the door. I had help after the door, but I mean, no excuses. And the bonus is, despite the pain of the Band-Aid coming off, is no limits. Disarm.
N-O-W. 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 All of you guys, N-O-W. Tracy, I've got your website going across the bottom of the screen right now. I want people to connect with you. Where else can they connect with you and continue this conversation? Because you are such an amazing spirit in everyone's world. I'm so thankful that we got connected and Scott is connected, because together, the web that we are weaving to make the world a better place is growing and growing by day, by day, by day. I told Scott this the other day, I sent him a text message. I'm like, dude, I see so many components of Help Heal Humanity, Go Love Now, Tracy, what Princeton's doing. There is a shift that's happening that's going to overtake all the bullshit that's been going on in this world, and we're going to disrupt it. We're going to disrupt the shit out of it, and we're going to be in the history books, and people won't like it, but fucking man.
Woo!
So where else can people get a hold of you and have the conversation with you besides unstoppabletracy.com?
And I keep it simple. Unstoppable Tracy on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, my podcast, Unstop the Story, Unstoppable Tracy everywhere, every social media, LinkedIn, all of it's Unstoppable Tracy.